This is Bronwyn, granddaughter of matriarch Selena. This female killer whale fully inherited her grandmother's incredible intelligence, and now she leads a group of 3 family members on a seal hunt. To catch the prey resting on an ice floe, Bronwyn directs the group into an echelon formation just below the surface. As the 4 killer whales beat their tails in unison, they create an extremely powerful shockwave, easily shattering the large ice floe into pieces. Although the floe has broken, the remaining small pieces of ice are still enough for the seal to hold onto. Bronwyn notices there is too much ice debris around, preventing them from continuing their old method of attack. She immediately pokes her head out of the water to observe the prey's exact position. It seems a new plan has just formed in her mind. Bronwyn and her family members begin to use their bodies to push the ice floe, forcing the seal towards a more open area of water. The seal on the ice floe is completely terrified. It could never have imagined that these hunters were so intelligent. When the entire pod once again rushes forward at high speed, the poor seal is thrown into the sea. But even after falling into the water, it refuses to accept its fate and tries to bite back at the predators surrounding it. Faced with this situation, Bronwyn already has a plan ready. From underwater, she blows a dense cloud of countless bubbles toward the seal. The prey, already exhausted, is now completely disoriented, as its vision is obscured by the wall of bubbles. Just as the seal tries to climb back onto a piece of ice, it is already too late. On average, a mature killer whale needs to eat 1 whole seal every day to fill its empty stomach. Therefore, they relentlessly scour this entire sea, searching for seals resting on the ice floes. This Weddell seal has just finished its nightly feeding and has found an ice floe to take a nap. The surrounding bay looks peaceful, and it thinks it can safely get a good, long sleep. However, that calm water's surface hides brutal predators. Bronwyn had already arrived here some time ago. While the Weddell seal was sound asleep, she silently created a massive wave from beneath. Caught by surprise, the seal was nearly swept into the sea. At this moment, Bronwyn's team only has 2 members, the other 2 have not yet arrived. Bronwyn lifts her enormous head to estimate the size of her prey. She and her companion decide to reuse their initial strategy, surround it and slap the water with their tails to create a large wave and drive the prey into the water. However, Weddell seals are much more ferocious than common seals. With its sharp jaws, it is fully capable of leaving the killer whales bloody and torn. Seizing the moment before the enemy could attack, it quickly swims toward a larger ice floe nearby. By a razor-thin margin, Bronwyn was just a fraction of a second away from sinking her teeth into its tail. It seems Bronwyn needs more help. After regrouping with the 2 remaining members, the full pod returns to this area of the sea. Bronwyn not only possesses her grandmother's intelligence, but also a formidable patience. Surprisingly, the Weddell seal chose not to flee. Perhaps it mistakenly believed that the pod of killer whales had retreated. This time, a gigantic wave crashes down, directly sweeping the seal into the frigid water. The hunting success rate of killer whales is as high as 90%. They possess superior intelligence and are considered the most intelligent mammals after humans. However, the family clan led by Bronwyn has more than 10 members, and their task of finding food is incredibly demanding. Just 2 seals are nowhere near enough to fill the bellies of the entire pod. Now, Their target is a much larger prey, the bowhead whale. The males can grow up to 18 meters long and weigh up to 100 tons. They are the true giants of the ocean. In this bay alone, dozens of bowhead whales make their home. After a long, hard year, they all gather here because the reefs and sandbars serve as their natural spa. Here, they can relax, rubbing their bodies to remove dead skin and parasites. The bowhead whale is also one of the longest living mammals. Some older individuals have reached the age of 200 years old. For decades, they have returned here every year to enjoy this spa treatment. Just then, Bronwyn leads her family clan up from the south. The pod of killer whales is starving, and this is not the first time they have hunted bowhead whales. Startled, the massive pod of bowhead whales panics and swims toward the shallow water, as it is the only place where the killer whales cannot attack effectively. But underwater, the killer whale's speed is much faster than theirs. The pod of bowhead whales tries to cluster tightly together, hoping their group strategy will intimidate the enemy into retreating. But Bronwyn's family is completely unfazed. They begin to chase and separate the pod of whales to find a weaker individual. In a single approach, Bronwyn lunges forward and bites down hard on the tail fin of a bowhead whale. Fresh blood immediately clouds the water. In excruciating pain, the giant whale thrashes its massive tail wildly to fight back. But it is this violent thrashing that seals its own fate, causing it to become beached right there in the bay. The other bowhead whales quickly flee towards the deep water in the distance. Now, the beached whale is completely defenseless. The members of Bronwyn's clan take turns attacking, repeatedly ramming its body with force. Before long, the bowhead whale's ribs have been broken by the clan's assault. Finally, unable to breathe, it is successfully killed by the family of killer whales. The hunt, which lasted for a full hour, has come to an end, but the most cruel part comes after. The pod of killer whales eats only the soft and fatty tongue of the massive prey. They have absolutely no interest in any other part of its body. Today, more and more bowhead whales are becoming food for killer whales. The underlying cause is climate change, which is causing the sea ice that once served as a protective shield to gradually melt away. What do you think about the intelligence and hunting strategies of the killer whale? Go ahead and leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel to discover more amazing stories from the natural world.